The 37th season of Vancouver's Bard on the Beach Shakespeare Festival continues at Vanier Park with Macbeth joining the Merry Wives of Windsor on the BMO Main Stage from June 11th to September 18th. Bard is Western Canada's largest not-for-profit professional Shakespeare festival, delighting audiences with its annual summer festival since 1990, as well as offering year-round programming, training, and educational opportunities. And there, since day one, is a man whose very name has become synonymous with Shakespeare around these parts. Here to talk about The Road to Bard, a legacy of Shakespeare on Canada's West Coast, is founding artistic director and author Christopher Gaze. Welcome.
Thanks, John. Great to see you.
What made you write the book, and why now?
I wanted the story of Bard to be told, and I wanted it to be told by me, because after I'm not here, who's going to write it? And it's not going to be the real story, because I was there and conceived the idea and then stood on mountains of people's shoulders. And so in a sense, it's, God willing, is an entertaining book, but it's also when people come to Bard in, I don't know, 25 years time, you name it, and say, wow, this is great. How did it all begin? Someone can say, read that book.
Now, when did you know that you wanted to be an actor, and when did you discover your love of Shakespeare?
I was quite small, just a young man. Bits about it in the book, of course. My mother was an influence, and father never stood against it. But when I was about 11, there was a family business, W.H. Gaze and Sons. My father was managing director, and it had been going for a long, long time, almost 100 years. And I asked my dad how I would get into that company, and he explained it. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I have to do all that, and which I had no real interest in. But I discovered this delight and passion for the theatre. So I was about 11. And then as my teens went on, I remember I went to boarding school from 8 to 18 in England. I remember when I was 13, almost 14, I was in my first Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing. I played Ursula in Much Ado About Nothing. And if you look at my book, John, one day, you'll see there's a photograph of me. I was very, very pretty. And anyway, I just remembered hearing other boys. I had some lines, but I remember listening to some of the other boys speak the lines. It was all boys, of course, just like Shakespeare's day. And I fell in love with it then.
Now, one of your early mentors, Douglas Campbell, whose voice is heard throughout the book, once told you, you can start a theater in your front room, on your front lawn. You could start street side. You could start a theater anywhere. That sounds like the seeds of Bard on the Beach right there.
It does. And when I got my first job through him, man I'd never met, but circumstances. And he liked me very much. And I, of course, thought he was some kind of a theatre god. And he'd married into the blue blood of the British theatre. And curiously, of course, he didn't bother about that. He just bothered about the theatre and what it meant to society. And so I was influenced heavily by Douglas, and he had come with his mentor, Sir Tyrone Guthrie, who'd been invited over to Stratford, Ontario, in 1953 to start the Stratford Festival. And so he'd been there with Alec Guinness and Dame Irene Worth and so on. And so in those early years when I was so young, 21, 22, just out of the Old Vic, he told me all about Stratford. And he said, you'd love it in Canada. And you're ambitious and you've got a certain sort of energy. I think you can do something. You should go to Canada. And that's how it all began for me, through that seed and that desire. Douglas could create, as you just said, a theatre company anywhere. And that's what I was working in. And that's what the Stratford Festival was.
Now, you arrive in Canada in 1975, I believe. By 1990, the year you'd started Bard, you'd been a professional actor for 17 years. Now, in the book, you talk about a conversation you had with your father while the two of you were stuck in traffic on the Cambie Street Bridge. What did he say to you to give you that final push to make you think, I have to do this. I have to start this theater company?
Well, first, we were stuck on the bridge, and as I was going to a show that I was in, and I said, "You must be awfully disappointed in me." And I said, and he said, "Why was that?" I said, "Well, I said I didn't go into the family firm." He said, "Look, in 1939, I'd been a farmer since 1937. That's what I wanted to do. But 39, I had to march away to war and did that. And when I came back from the war in 45, 46, I had to get a job and I wanted to meet somebody beautiful. I wanted to start a family, which is what he did. Uh, he said, "You were doing what you wanted to do." And we went to see a production. It was actually Midsummer Night's Dream at the Playhouse in the fall of '87. He died the following year. Uh, at the end of it, he said, "You can do better than that, can't you, Gazy?" And and that's when I thought, yes, I can. And he died the following year, and it was almost a lift in me, where his death gave me energy and desire to really do something. And that really was the initial idea and then the creation of Bard.
Now, you had seen other outdoor Shakespeare festivals rise and fall, including the Vancouver Shakespeare Festival of 1984, which was held, as it so happens, at the Bard's future home of Vanier Park. What lessons did you learn from those festivals that you thought you could apply to Bard?
I thought that they were very, very good in their first year in particular, and the idea was marvelous. And this sort of impermanence of them, this tented Shakespeare, like Stratford was in 1953 to 57, um, was which is a beautiful experiential way of experiencing the theatre. Um, in Edmonton, with the first one in 1980, it was an open theatre in the River Valley. So you looked up at the city of Edmonton, which actually, when it gets dark, is when the lights come on, it's very beautiful. In Vancouver, it was closed, which was curious. So as the '80s wore on, and other people had tried to resuscitate the Vancouver Shakespeare Festival, uh, when I proposed to a group of people, I think we should do this, and they agreed, thank God. Um, I said the back must be open because here in Vancouver we really have something. This extraordinary view of the green grass, of Vanier Park, the sea, the boats going by, the mountains, the sun going down. It's absolute magic.
Now, where do you think Bard has succeeded where others failed then?
I think that it's two things, and I in the early days, John, this it sort of upset me. I'd say, have you been to Bard?" And people would say, "Oh yes, 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 we've been them, and gosh, the view is marvelous." And I would think, well, that's fine, but what about the show? And but then I gradually really understood what the original intention was, that um, what they were really saying, it's the experience of coming to Barn on the Beach, that you can come and you can bring your best friend, your wife, your lover, whoever it is, um, and you could have a dinner beforehand, bring a picnic, buy it from us, whatever, in the lovely contained private grounds of Bard, and chatter away to them, a glass of wine, cup of tea, whatever is your wish. And then you come in and see a really, really good production of Shakespeare and one or two other things we do these days.
Now, a word you use quite often in the book when talking about Bard in comparison to other festivals is this idea of making it sustainable. As you just said, a lot of festivals are great in their first year, and you went through some growing pains from that first year to second year as well. How is Bard made sustainable?
How is Bard made sustainable? Well, In those early years, and maybe up till about 2019, over 30 years into it, our audiences just grew and grew and grew and grew. And we've always lived within our means. We've been successful. We have 4% of our $10 million budget comes from government, very small amount. So our revenues come from patrons who buy tickets, certainly corporate, but more than anything from individual contributions and support, donors, in other words. But we need now to make it so since the pandemic, our audiences, like almost every other arts organization, many businesses, the revenues have dropped. So we have 80,000 people instead of 100,000 people a season now. So we have to build out a sustainable endowment to fill what for us is $1 million gap. And a lot of my life now is spent fundraising for many millions to put into our endowment so that it is sustainable after I can no longer do that. And so we'll give Bard good life because we're such a remarkable amenity to the city, something quite different and fascinating that happens in Vancouver in the summertime.
Was that the central lesson of those pandemic years when you were off in 2020, 2021? Was this idea of the endowment of making things sort of forgive the term future proof?
It certainly has been ever since. That was of course, to the whole world, a dreadful shock. 2021, lurching back in 22 for everybody. And certainly the overwhelming thoughts between me and the executive director of Bard, Claire Sakaki, and our board of directors was we have to make this sustainable. We had to make it through the pandemic, which we did. And we have to build our resources so that all is well in the years to come. And we're working very, very hard at that now with the Parks Board and major donors to give us those means to last us for a long, long time.
Now, looking ahead to the new season, your two main stage productions are Macbeth and the Merry Wives of Windsor, starting June 11th. What are you most excited about?
Oh, I mean, I always love when we do Macbeth. It's just a fantastic play. All those remarkable words and a terrifying plot. And that is the idea. This year, especially, Stephen Drober, the director of the production, it just wants to terrify people. And I think that's fantastic, like a horror film, you know. I mean, that's really what the play is, actually. So that's good. And then the lead production of our season, The Merry Wives of Windsor, which is all about soccer. And because FIFA's coming, World Cup is going to be here, and I'm excited about that. I love sports, I love football, and so that's how it's contained. There's a lot of music in it. It will be, I believe, easily approachable. There's a lot of colloquial language which we've infused it with. Rebecca Northon, who created the Goblin productions that we did one 2 or 3 years ago. Now we got another one this year, Goblin Oedipus. And we, of course, we do that in the small theatre and Antigone in the small theatre too, two Greek plays, but the Goblin Oedipus, good, crazy fun. But the big show is the massive fun around the Merry Wives of Windsor.
How much thought do you put in as a company into making these productions relatable to as broad an audience as possible?
A heck of a lot. And I must say that, say, August last year, we were all set. We'd come forward with this idea of Merry Wives being based in the Merry Wives of Windsor Ranch, a sort of prairie, Albertan, Saskatchewan ranch type setting with all the music that follows, cowboy music of the day, and wouldn't that be fun? And then the World Cup came on in our minds, and we thought, well, let's make it about soccer with a recreational centre, and one of the leading young men, he's captain of the boys soccer team, the leading young woman captain of the women's soccer team, young people, and then naughty old Falstaff in the middle, who's a roue and used to be good at soccer, but all those days are past, and now he's just a naughty man and wanting to woo the merry wives. And of course, it all backfires in the great merriment and fun of the show. But inside the production, of course, there's the one or two of the anthems of the soccer world. You'll Never Walk Alone, and so forth. It's just great stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you see a day when you hand over the reins to a successor?
Well, yes, of course I do. We have, it's an open discussion at Bard. I'm not afraid of talking about it to anybody as I talk to you about it now. It's a very, very open, healthy discussion. Fortunately, I'm a healthy person. I'm happy. I'm still filled with energy, as you can perhaps see. And I just love showing up virtually every evening at Bard over the 4 months of June 9th, where we begin, all the way to September 19th, virtually there all the time. And I love it. And the board, in their wisdom, has no desire to say, however, around me, artistically, we are very well covered. I have wonderful colleagues that are artistic associates around me and help to take a vision of the future artistically. If I couldn't be here tomorrow, Bard would be very, very well managed artistically. Where I'm mostly concerned about is that we raise enough money while I'm still here, and that's the big trick. So we consider that all the time and think about it. I think I can go on for a while, John, but it'll be measured, and a lot of people will be thinking about it. We will take great care, and as long as I'm still here, I will be associated with Bard. It's been a mission, and I've stood on thousands of shoulders, including yours, and together we've created something truly remarkable.
What do you hope people get out of the book?
I think they'll be greatly entertained. Bottom line is, I'm a storyteller. I love to entertain. I like to, I'm naturally a happy person, and I want to make you happy too. Life's not really worth living till we are mirth giving. Why can't I give some to you? There's a little rhyme for you from a great song. But anyway, I think they'll find out how did all this emerge? How did Bard happen? As you said earlier, there were 17 years in between when I left theatre school till managed to get Bard going in 1990. I learned a lot. I have a lot of mentors, people that I've grabbed onto, and people who have said, this is how you do it. This is good, not just about how to create a theatre company, but of all aspects of life, business too. Bard is a very big business. So I think people will grab onto that. Some great anecdotes of some of the dizzy things that have happened at Bard over the years, and bits about my background, and people to begin to understand how all this happened. And maybe there'll be someone out there that thinks, I think I could do that. And they'll do something great too, whether it's in the theater and music or art, but with passion and meaning and a sort of mission in life. And I think I've had that all my life. I've felt that there was something I could do, and I believe I've had a wonderful life, and long may it continue.
As someone once told you, Christopher, dear boy, you're going to do something. And you did.
Bless you.
The name of the book is The Road to Bard, A Legacy of Shakespeare on Canada's West Coast. It is available from Harper Publishing. My thanks to author Christopher Gaze.
Thank you, John.